Fair warning, friends, there are some major spoilers ahead in this episode, so go see The Northman now if you haven't.
Doctor?
Come on, what?
Always do the right thing.
Get away from her, you bitch!
Shit just got real.
Dead or alive, you are coming with me.
Samsonite. I was way off.
Welcome to Very Famous Movie Podcast. I'm Sean Robb.
I'm John Valley.
And I'm Robert Jordan Hunt.
Don't forget to polish your sword, bozo, because today we're talking about Robert Eggers' The Northman. Jordan, do you want to give us a quick rundown about The Northman? Tell us what the movie's all about, my man.
Yes, this won't be very hard. It is a very simple movie in a way that I love, but we'll get to that later. Essentially, it is a revenge tale about a son who avenges his father's death by the hand of his own brother and goes on a 30-year-long journey to avenge his father and reclaim his kingdom.
Oh, that's pretty good.
That was really good, Jordan.
Jordan didn't even see the movie. That's incredible.
Nope.
Just,
I also used to write reviews in high school for movies I didn't see. So.
Wait, what was your most famous review for a movie you never saw?
My most famous one, the one that you supposedly wrote that I did?
Well, what was it?
Anger Management.
That's right. That review was incredible. People still talk about it to this day.
I've never. That's the first time I'm putting that out in the open.
What, that you're a fucking criminal? You broke the fucking law, man. They should have killed you. They should have beaten you in the streets for that, man.
It's a compelling argument.
But you know what? The funny thing about that is I was accused of plagiarizing. Because they were written so, and I'm not kidding, they were written so well, the principal came and to see me in class.
Yeah.
How Shakespearean.
Yeah, and he said, he was like, are you copying me? I was like, no, I wrote this.
Yeah.
Which was true.
Yeah. And they're like, this weird old man in a child's body wrote this movie review that nobody cares about.
Yeah, seriously. I was like,
who would do such a thing?
And I was so offended too. I was like, I got a little snippy for me back then. I'm a very genteel person, I feel like. But
I don't remember anything about that time in my life.
Oh, I'll never forget that. I was so upset. How dare you, sir?
Yeah.
Well, spoiler alert, Robert Jordan Hunt actually did see The Northman.
I did.
He did.
And so the review that you're about to hear come from his supple lips is a real review from
true.
a movie that you really saw.
Yes.
Yeah.
Robert Eggers, Eggman's The Northman.
The Eggman, Robert Eggers.
Robert Eggman.
I'm an egghead.
Yeah.
Oh, right there. We just coined it. Eggheads.
That's right. We're going to start a new cryptocurrency called Eggcoin, and it's going to be dedicated to Robert Eggers.
The success
All
or
profits
failure.
go to him.
Yeah.
100%.
We do this for the love of
crypto
it.
profits.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, what did you think?
Of the lack of crypto?
No, the film that we're reviewing today.
Oh,
The Northman.
I very much enjoyed it.
Jesus Christ.
No, he's not in this. But I really did like it. I'm an egghead. I think it's his most straightforward and easiest to swallow movie out of the three, and that's not a bad thing for me. It's very straightforward. When I say it's a revenge tale, that's really all there is. Other things happen. There's a lot of characters you meet, but that's it. That is the movie. And at first I was a little I thought I wanted more. But once I kind of realized what it was and that's just not what he was going for. And
You wanted less.
yeah, I wanted a lot less. No, it's really fucking cool. Visually, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Classic Edgar's movie in that aspect. Skarsgård is ripped as hell. No neck Alex, I guess you could call him. I fucking loved it.
That was a real roller coaster there. It was, I wanted more, I wanted less.
I
fucking
loved
it.
I
didn't
did
just
though.
love it. Okay, that's good.
It had to sit with me for a day. You know what I mean? It was
Right,
to really come to terms with what it is versus maybe my expectations.
Yeah.
And the more I thought about it this week, the more I'm just fuck yes, this movie rules.
It's cool. It's pretty deceptively simple. I
Yes.
think he's kind of got a knack for that, and all of his stories,
Yeah.
Objectively speaking, fairly simple plot lines. And this one definitely is a little more straightforward, even with some of the Norse mythology. There's witches. There's Dragors or Dragar, the sort of dead zombie knight character. I thought that all those elements with the Valkyrie and Valhalla and was really cool.
Super cool.
And I'm glad he leaned into those elements a little bit more. I kind of expected it to just be a little bit more grounded and historical, but then
really?
it had these sort of elements of mysticism and like supernatural elements that
The occult.
I really appreciated how much of that there was in the movie, and it wasn't just kind of talked about. It was like pretty central to the story at large. You know?
I honestly thought there was going to be more.
Oh, really?
Yes. I thought. I mean,
So that's what you wanted more of.
I think that's what I was expecting more of.
Oh, but then you decided you didn't need it.
Right. Well, the movie told me I didn't need it as I watched it. I just didn't realize it. I mean, he still uses it amazingly. I just even like the trailers are pretty. They sell exactly what it is, but I thought that they were like hiding
Very
some
honest
of the
trailers.
Yeah,
They should give an Oscar for how good a trailer is.
it is an art form.
When the Oscars go fully online and they're not televised anymore, and it's
Right.
just sort of like this virtual experience.
Whoever gets the most tweets wins the Oscar.
So would you say then, RJ, would you say you're like, sounds like on a 5-star rating, you're like 4 out of 5 stars, and then Sean Robb, you're like 3 out of 5 stars.
No,
Are you for?
I dug it, man. I thought it was super cool. I didn't know what to expect. All of his movies are fairly tempered and you know small sets, singular locations. This is a much bigger movie. I was surprised by how well he shot some of the action sequences, considering he's even admitted to never having done that before.
Yeah.
And obviously this is the biggest budget movie he's worked on. And it still felt very grounded and still felt very Robert Eggers. And, you know, there are all these sort of like folky elements to all of his movies.
Okay.
And I don't think this is any exception to that. This is a folk tale, but it's tough, man. It's fucking tough and sad
Tough
and brutal and
Very
like,
metal.
Yeah, but I'd say we have another egghead in the room. Am I right?
yeah, I'm a bit of an egghead.
Right. Eggheads United.
I do have a big head.
I would
Yeah.
I would join you too in being another egghead. I loved this movie. I didn't really like the ending that much. The ending left me somewhat disappointed, but
Great ass!
I love it.
Okay.
I am a fucking egghead if you've ever seen one before.
Yes,
He is. He's an idiot. What did you think about the story overall? Was it the ending of the story, the script you didn't like, or how it was presented?
Yeah,
or...
because like I understand that there's sort of a lifted reality to it. There's the occult, and I'm willing to go there, and I like the sort of fantasy element that's embedded in this otherwise super realistic movie that is, due to its simplicity, perfectly linked to itself from like top to about end of Act 2.
Yeah.
In my opinion, when he's spoiler alert, deciding to not seek revenge and deciding to leave the island on the boat with his newly betrothed
Anya.
Anya Taylor, joy to the world, whose character name is Olga, and she's great in this. Of course, the cast is
She's got insane
excellent.
screen presence though. Like just her as a performer. Like
They all do.
Yeah.
Bill Defoe, Nikki Kidman.
Gives.
So like it's just everything links into itself so well because it's so simplistic. It's like you said, it's just this freight train of a revenge tale.
Yeah.
And along the ride you're getting to see like really well-researched set design, props, costumes, landscapes. It's just like, you know, it's a history teacher's wet dream.
Yeah.
But I just did not buy that when he gets into the boat with his love, Olga, and finds out that, you know, at this point he has found out, again, here we come, this is a big spoiler. He finds out that she is impregnated with his...
He never misses.
He
They only had sex once.
Yeah, and
Once.
he's having twins.
But you know what I'm saying, guys? It's like he's about
So you don't
to
buy
get
that
away.
specific moment.
Of like him realizing that he doesn't.
No, because the movie does this perfect thing where you think that you're watching Hamlet, you think that you're watching Conan, you think you're watching Lion King, and it's like, I know what's going to happen. And all of a sudden, somewhere floating around in there in Act 2, you find out Amleth, Al Skarsgård's character, and he finds out that no, Ethan Hawke was actually like the bad guy. And that the uncle, this person that he's been after his whole life, is actually the good one who sort of gave his mother a better life.
But the conflicting nature of that is that she also wanted to have him killed as a child.
Well, it was
Because, well,
let's let's back up a hair.
Okay.
Because that's
so just to finish that out, sorry.
Sure.
Let me finish. It's like this great conundrum that you didn't see coming. It's this great Shakespearean level, like, holy shit. A very, like, big shift in familial relations.
Totally.
Much like Star Wars, because I thought this was very, like, Star Wars-esque, especially the final fight scene in the Lake of Fire with the volcanoes. It's, like, very Episode 3.
Just loose Viking dongs hanging around.
That was so cool.
Blurred out though, unfortunately. I didn't
They
see
blurred
any
the dong?
No, I know.
There was no actual
You can't
dong.
really see it.
Oh, I thought I saw silhouette.
That's because it's
May-
burned off by the lava.
So he gets this opportunity to leave with his betrothed, and he's like going to leave his revenge quest, and then finds out, oh, I've got twins. My life is going to be great. They're going to be kings. Everything's awesome. We're getting away from violence. And then they could have had it be something where, yes, the uncle, maybe if they want to have this final fight happen, the uncle should come back and try to kill Amleth's children.
Right.
Even if they have to jump forward a few years because Amleth has just killed his uncle's son.
Right.
And so what a nice way to end this tragic tale of saying just violence begets violence begets violence begets violence. But instead, for some reason, he's like, no, now that I know that I have this vision that you are going to survive and these children are going to lead a kingdom and we've given birth to this queen, I'm going to swim back to the island and go fight my uncle anyway. And risk getting killed, likely will get killed, and then leave my kids fatherless, and leave her to pay all the bills. Okay, it's not fair, and that's a big problem. And I did appreciate the commentary on bills. In the modern day,
Right.
You know, a single person paying those bills.
Gotta pay your bills.
Anyway, so then he goes back to the island, and then we are given this epic showdown,
Climactic sword fight.
They're fucking
to the
naked.
death.
They're both.
They're
they just
fighting
take their
amongst
clothes off.
lava.
Kind of like Eastern Promises.
Oh, very much.
When Vigo's fighting all those dudes in the
Bathhouse.
The bathhouse. Man, that is some cool stuff.
Yes,
Watch
it
it
is.
every night.
Let's talk about the story a little bit though. I mean, kind of from the beginning, just to fill in some gaps, because we gave a good summation of the ending. But the movie begins where Amleth, as a young boy, his father's just come back from war or a journey. I don't remember if they say explicitly, but he's been gone a long time.
War.
What is He's injured.
Good boy.
Yes, he's injured, but he is so happy to see his father. They seemingly have an amazing relationship from what we see, and we assume Ethan and Nicole, you assume that they genuinely love each other and that it's a exactly as you expect king and queen relationship.
Right.
And then
with a twist down the road.
The twist, right. And then eventually after some hangout time and whatever, Ethan and Amleth are hanging out, and all of a sudden his bastard uncle comes out of nowhere, kills him, and he thinks also takes his mom Nicole as slave. And so he runs away, basically becomes a Viking warrior. But
can I stop you real quick before we go further?
Yes.
Because right before Ethan Hawke gets killed, he does this really weird ayahuasca Viking ceremony with his son.
Yes.
And Willem Dafoe's character, who is what is his name? Hymir. And they're basically, I guess, they're
court
basically
jester.
tripping out, pretending that they're becoming animals. They're having this spiritual journey together where he's becoming a man.
it's like a bonding experience
Right.
between father and son, king and prince.
Yeah, it's like he's getting the blessing from his father. He has become a man. He's ready to move forward in the kingdom, whatever. And so it's like right after, man, talk about a bad trip, Like you're just getting fucked up with your kid.
right
you walk
after.
outside and then people start stabbing you with poles. Man, that's a drag,
Yeah.
man.
Yes.
Very, very traumatic
and he-
for Amleth.
Yeah. He sees all this. He runs away, dedicates his life to revenge.
I will avenge you, father. I will save you, mother. I will kill you, Fjornir.
Real tough names in this movie.
Yes.
Real tough.
He dedicates his life. He works eventually he finds out where his uncle is and works his way up from a slave first to
Ultimate gladiator.
ultimate
warrior.
warrior, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Works his way up the ranks, if you will.
And he does it purposefully because he is
Right.
like a Viking warrior first.
to get next to his uncle to kill him.
Yeah.
But the big twist that we learn, and along this way he has met Anya Taylor-Joy, who has some kind of
She's like a mystic or
some
a witch.
clairvoyant or some kind
Yeah.
of medium. She
Yeah.
has this ability to kind of predict or control or sort of like forecast the weather. But again, with all of the other mysticism of the movie, you're not quite sure if it's just happening.
Right. Which I love.
I love that too. Yeah, it doesn't quite give you the answer of if you're really seeing magic or not.
I choose to believe
Aww.
well, like, I mean, it's left.
I choose
I
to
choose
believe.
to believe.
Yeah, well.
That it, like all that shit is like happening in the movie. But
Right.
I mean, he clearly meant it to be interpreted. You know what I mean?
So he's
It could
killing
go-
all these people. Anya Taylor-Joy is in this village. They start capturing the villagers to become slaves, and then another Viking is casually talking to Hamlet and explains that they're going to Fjornir's, who is no longer a king. His kingdom has actually been taken from him, and he's fled to Iceland. And so now he has like a sort of modest farming community in Iceland, and but he's receiving these slaves, so they're sending these slaves to him. So in an effort to go undercover, Hamlet cuts his hair and brands himself with the slaves' marking, gets on this boat, and
With
Anya
Anya
Taylor-Joy
Taylor-Joy.
happens to be on there as well, and then they start sort of. From there becomes this relationship between them where they're both kind of scheming on ways to escape.
Yeah.
Because clearly they both have their strong suits. He is like they always say throughout the movie, he's a beast. I mean, he's
Yeah.
insane. He looks fucking nuts in this movie.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
it's like they get there, and then from there, Hamlet is basically trying to get himself closer and closer to Fjornir so he can kill him.
He's doing exactly what he wanted to do.
Yeah.
And just at the moment when he thinks he's saving his mother, he finds out that basically the plan to kill his father was essentially her idea all along.
Yeah.
She was the one who initiated it. She hated her father.
because he was a bad boy.
Right. And he is there. And I mean, he has spent the last 30 years thinking, or 20 years, whatever, thinking of nothing but avenging and saving her. And she is just the exact opposite of
It
what
took
he
too
expected.
long. 20 years, man. Catch a cab already.
Sure.
But it's cool. It's like it is the Luke, I am your father moment.
Yeah.
Totally.
You know, and then like the
amazing.
moment that precedes that, when he gets the night sword, he has to fall down into a cave, just like an
Yeah.
Empire when he goes down into the cave.
Yeah.
And he has to fight this like dead version of
The former.
the former keeper of this
Yeah.
night sword, which is like this super magical sharp, kind of only can be opened at nighttime.
It's awesome.
Yeah. Great
Yeah.
sound design with that sword
Yeah.
as well. Like,
Yeah, it's like Conan like that, where how Conan has to go
Yes.
into that tomb to find the sword from the
Yes.
previous king. So it's all this really cool, like big mythos kind of boiling up to this moment where Nicole Kidman basically is like, she reveals herself to be Lady Macbeth, threaded this needle expertly.
he kills Nicole Kidman, both of his half brothers, Fjornir. I mean, he's fucking killing everybody. It is interesting to me how long it takes him to get to that point, because the whole time you're like, this place isn't that fucking big, right? I mean,
Right.
how
He
long
does
are you
take
going
his
to
time,
work here?
for
I feel like
sure.
you could just cut this dude's head off right now. I don't know why you need a special sword to do it, but
Well, that's the thing with like, he has to let this fate play out,
Right.
you know, and so that's another level of mysticism.
Well,
I think
he finds out about his fate from Bjork.
Bjork.
She plays
Bjork.
Ceres.
Yes.
She's a witch. She's witch as hell, man.
She's
great.
Very witch.
Yeah.
Very
Great. Her eyes have been plucked out, but she's still a seer.
A great costume design.
yes.
Oh, man.
That's who he learns his fate from.
It's the Oracle character,
Right.
basically. Like if this was the Matrix, right?
That pushes the whole movie forward. Like, where you're waiting for this ending. I think that she says something like, or you're going to fight your enemy among a sea of fire or something, but it's on a volcano.
And so then the mountain goes boom. They get naked and
Because he kills his mom.
kills her, sticks her in the heart, and
Yeah.
then guts the half brother, who's just a little boy who like prison shanks the shit out of him.
yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Like, runs up.
That
out
was
of the
very
shadows.
reminiscent of the scene in Tropic Thunder to me. That
Yes.
was almost
Yes.
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 Oh, what a brutal scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hilarious.
So he's like wounded, like kind of mortally wounded, and then going to this fight with his uncle, like knowing that, you know, they are not coming back.
Right. He cuts his head off. Amleth cuts Fjornir's head off, but Fjornir gets that thing right in the chest, gets that sword right in his chest,
Yeah.
in Amleth's chest. And
Great shot.
then really, that's where the movie ends. Like, he gets carried off to Valhalla with Valkyrie. They die, boom, over.
Yeah.
That was the moment when I was like, oh, that's it?
Yeah.
But then thinking about it, and we were kind of talking earlier, it's like, all a Viking wants is death.
To die in battle.
To die, yeah, not
Yeah.
just
Then
to die in battle.
Valhalla is heaven.
Right.
It's like, so.
That's the
That's
ultimate
really beautiful.
goal.
Yeah, man. Dude, death is beautiful.
It's really beautiful.
But it was more clear to me. It was like, of course that's where it ends. Of
Right.
course
For
that's
that.
how it ends. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
It fits so well within the Viking lore.
He played to his fate. I mean,
Right.
That's the whole thing. It's like he could not
He couldn't
escape.
stay
Even if
with-
he wanted to, he still went back.
he
went
couldn't,
back.
and he kind of lies to himself. He goes, "I want both."
Right.
He does say that before
Yeah.
he jumps off the boat, leaving Anya and his two.
I want
unborn-
both, but it's like you're not going to get both.
Yeah, bozo.
So that's the only thing that does kind of trip me up. And
That's
just
why
like,
I hated that
what
part.
is that about?
I
Because
hated
he's-
it.
he
Because
says
he's
that.
protecting his family. I thought that was the entire reason he went back. Is that
I'm
he said
mad.
that they would never stop looking for them.
Okay,
unless
that's
he,
true.
He killed him.
Well, let's just break this down to brass tacks here, okay? Like
You don't even know what that means.
A Viking, making a Viking movie is all well and good. Let's go have fun and swing swords. I get it.
Let's get
But
muscles.
Tell me about the numbers, Jordan. I mean, what are we talking about here? Is this the end of medieval pageantry of sexy, oily, sweaty Skarsgård muscles with
No, that will never
3-foot meat hose flopping around in the silhouette of a fire lake? and,
Dipping it in hot lava, baby.
We're getting
Anya
more of that all the
Taylor-Joy
time.
stepping naked into a hot pool. And,
Is that a hot pool?
and
Yeah,
and big
that's
Al
what it's called.
Skarsgård, his giant hands wrapping around her. I get it. It's great. We love it. We want more of it. But tell me about the numbers. The numbers got to line up for us to see more. Is there going to be a Northman 2?
No, there will
Okay,
not be.
why?
Well, one, the story doesn't call for one. There has been some talk because this movie is a big budget movie, especially for Robert Eggers. The Witch, $4 million is what The Witch cost, his first movie. The Lighthouse cost
Just a measly $4
a
million.
measly $4 million. The
Pocket
Lighthouse
change.
$11 million, and then the Northman jumps anywhere. Like I've read that like initially it cost $90 million, and then about $70 million with tax rebates depending on where they filmed. But that's
Well, look at that.
that's a pretty high number, especially for a quote unquote art house feature. If
Yeah, you could
will.
buy a Tesla for $70 million.
That's a huge jump, number one. But two, it's so rare to even find a movie of that scope sub 100 million, like between that $50 and $100 million mark.
Let's just
yeah.
call it 80. Because
Sure.
if you can't figure out, whether it's 90 or 70, then let's just...
Write down,
Yeah, if
write
you
down the
can't
shooter.
fucking figure this out, Jordan,
Jordan, that was your one fucking job
I need
for
an
this
update.
show.
Like this movie is a huge gamble.
So if a studio dropped 70 mil on Egghead, is this performing?
80 million, John.
80 million. Shit. Sorry, that's
God,
my bad.
trust the
Take
math.
that back. Well, let me just
Hold on, I'm about to sneeze.
shut the fuck up. I can do it again. So tell us about how this is performing, Jordan.
It's doing okay. Is it making money? No.
How does it compare? How-
That's not great. Then.
but we liked The Last Duel. It
Loved.
famously performed poorly, and Ridley Scott
Terribly.
got a little weepy peepy and
Well, I think
blamed it on
rightfully so.
millennials.
Well, it is our fault.
The Northman has grossed 22 million as of right now and 41 million worldwide, which is already the highest grossing Robert Eggers movie right there.
Ding dong, we got The Northman 2. You heard it here first, folks, and that's our
Northman-
show.
yeah.
Thanks so
But-
much.
But what's interesting though is like there's a lot of debate on whether or not this is successful, and like for one, that's his highest grossing movie. It will be domestically his highest grossing movie by next weekend, and it won't even be close when all is said and done. And not only that, but like I would assume with VOD numbers and maybe even home video is
Video on
dying,
demand.
that eventually this movie will recoup its budget. It won't be like a huge moneymaker, but
Are we going to see a DVD release of this, do you think?
for sure, 4K. But I think this movie has
Good.
been very well received, right? Not only
Yeah.
critically, but like people who saw it really like it.
Yeah.
This is a movie that we're going to be coming back to every couple of years. You know what I mean? I think this movie's going to hang around. And I think that's almost like the investment, right? There won't be a Northman 2, but this is could be a ringing endorsement for like giving
Giving him a Marvel movie.
I think this will only help smaller movies with smaller movie ideas with bigger budgets, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. Like this is just a Viking revenge tale, but with a budget behind it, and that's something an R-rated, very R-rated, violent.
That's a good point.
Adult, like original non-IP movie. That's not
Yeah.
streaming. That's theatrical specifically.
Yeah, and I think that I wouldn't be surprised if Robert Eggers went back to doing some smaller budget stuff now that he's done something of this size.
He's mentioned specific. Maybe you were about to say this. He's mentioned how hard the post production process was because it was with the studio and not independent. He said it really took it out of him
because he had to recut a portion of the movie, and I know that he's often said that they don't really overshoot because they know what they're trying to get. And he got everything he got, and then they wanted to change stuff, and he was like, "I don't have footage," and things like. I may be taking some liberties here, but I do know that they had to add ADR stuff. That's why they're constantly saying that mantra of like, "I will kill," I will avenge you, father. I will save you, mother. I will kill you, Fjorner, because they thought that. I guess audiences were too confused as to what was happening in his original.
That's
test
crazy
audiences
to me.
typically are fucking idiots,
right?
But like
complete bozos.
But clearly they had to add it in, so it's like, yeah, even if you're confused, all you need to know is that this is the mission this guy is on.
Right.
And he has not achieved it yet, so he's still trying to go for that. And I think that's pretty genius. And
it's crazy to me that anyone couldn't figure out what's going on. Because I said this at the beginning, like I think this is his most straightforward movie. And
definitely.
Especially like only when you think, I mean, all the plots to all of his movies are fairly simple, but like the first one, just because of the old English dialogue, like it's forcing you to like really pay attention, like, which is a good thing. I love that.
Really lean in
and just like really listen and pay attention. And then the lighthouse
attention
is also very straightforward, but the visuals are trippy, and like there's the very, is Willem Dafoe gaslighting him? Are they both crazy? Like there's
and what happened to the beans?
What happened to the bean? Like there's it's just trippy. It's more trippy. Whereas this is, again, I can't imagine anyone, like as long as you're watching it, even with half a brain, like it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
But do you think
it's not a bad thing.
That those kinds of movies
not at all.
are? I mean, obviously there's ebbs and flows with sort of what Hollywood is choosing to put out. Do you think we're about to see a push for more like Viking shit or medieval stuff? I know there's the show. I know that, but I feel personally, maybe this is just my opinion.
Are we about to get a summer of Vikings?
Are we about to? Because I'm surprised that, I mean, albeit I really enjoyed the movie, I'm surprised that it was able to get made like post Game of Thrones, post all this stuff where there's still, I think people are a little tired of some of that stuff. And I think because, it's been somewhat of a letdown at times, but I thought this was a really cool story, and I'm happy that people are going to see it, but it's just one of those cool things. I'm also glad to know that Robert Eggers probably won't make another Viking movie next.
Right.
It's still going to be something weird, certainly. Right. And
nobody's certainly getting season passes to the Minnesota Vikings next season.
Right.
I mean, the amount of fundraising, the successful fundraising that has been occurring to the Minnesota Vikings in the wake of this film is nothing short of remarkable.
This actually is just a marketing campaign.
It's my favorite. That's my favorite team. So
the Minnesota Vikings. Mm-hmm. Well, it makes sense.
Of just anything.
Yeah, just like of all the sports, like the TV sports, it's like the Minnesota Vikes.
Wow.
I've always loved them. I love those colors. I love that horn.
I like drinking out of a horn. Should we get horns?
Yes. Yeah.
I feel like you guys like this movie. I liked it. We're still eggheads.
Yeah, we're still eggheads, and Sean, to answer your question very quickly, I don't think we're gonna get an influx of specifically Viking stuff or even medieval. One, I think Sean kind of said
that
it.
attitude.
It's like, I mean, I'm not saying like never again. It's all cyclical. I mean, Conan was 82. Like it all comes back, right?
Yeah.
But I think it's at the end of its
cycle
for now, because even though like Northman isn't like making huge money, but like John, you were talking about The Last Duel, a movie which was for the most part like critically acclaimed, but it barely made
critically acclaimed by who?
A lot,
probably Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah,
Rotten Tomatoes, heard of it?
For sure. But like it made no money, and it was a very expensive movie.
It's because of those haircuts. Everything hinged.
I loved the haircuts.
You know what?
Matt Damon is not afraid to look like a doofus, and I love it.
The problem is Ridley Scott tried to appeal to millennials with those haircuts, and it came back to bite him in the ass.
It is very dumb that he blamed the millennials. It was poor timing, and then I've heard rumors, and this is strictly rumors, okay? But let's
Jordan
get a
Hunt,
little bit
strictly rumors.
There's a lot of theories going around as to wondering if Disney kind of like sabotaged it because it was a Fox movie. Disney bought Fox. And apparently they really don't know how to market or don't want to know how to market like adult dramas.
Everybody's blaming everything on Disney these days, and I want it to stop.
Last Duel, for whatever reason, I did
work
not
for
like
ya.
it.
That's
It didn't
okay.
work for me. I thought it was
Didn't get him.
Didn't get him.
I thought it was pretty boring, but I'm privy to thinking that about certain period pieces. If it's not really good, if the story's not super compelling to me, it was just kind of like it was just like, I'm an idiot and you're an idiot and we're both in love with a girl.
Yes,
and I was like,
and that's actually why I loved it. I'm not
alright,
like that. You're not wrong.
yeah.
But that's why it's incredible.
I mean, I just felt like Matt Damon was going to ride out with like a horse with like a NASCAR sticker on the side of
Totally.
it or some shit.
Yeah, totally. You've
Fucking
actually surmised it amazingly.
Ben Affleck is the
You're only
like,
making it better for me.
bassist of No Doubt, and fucking,
Dude, you're just making this movie better.
and then Adam Driver. Did you know he was in the military? Anyway,
Jordan, 5 seconds. Favorite revenge movie. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Favorite. Now.
say it.
The only one that comes to mind immediately is Taken, but that's not true.
Sean.
Taken is your favorite.
Sean, 5,
Quote him on
4,
it.
3, 2, 1.
Favorite revenge movie? I'm gonna say.
Not fair.
Oh
Not fair.
man,
Not
it's
fair.
not fair. I fucked up because I can't even remember what I was gonna say now. What is my favorite revenge movie? What is
It's
revenge?
a hard question, okay?
What is revenge?
What is revenge? You know,
Webster's
I
Dictionary.
am gonna.
Look,
hey, John,
you know
what
what?
is your favorite action comedy? 1, 2, 3, go.
Lethal Weapon.
Lethal Weapon 1.
Yeah,
Okay.
That's a good one. I'm going to go, just because you said Lethal Weapon, I will say The Nice Guys.
Okay.
that's good too.
My favorite is the
Piece of shit.
So, what's your favorite Viking action comedy? 1, 2, 3, go.
The Northman.
The Northman. There's plenty of farting.
Yeah, that's true.
Did you like the Northman more than Conan the Barbarian? The Schwarzenegger one.
Probably not, just because I grew up with Conan and
Same.
Well, that
it's-
movie, like,
It's a masterpiece.
it's a masterpiece. It's also fucking insane, like
Yeah.
to the nth degree. And
Yes.
The Northman is. I think that was another thing. I expected it to be like well, I guess this goes in line with what I said earlier, but I really thought it was going to be like fucking insane, and it really isn't.
So, moral of this show, ladies and gentlemen, is don't waste your time with the Northman if you haven't seen Conan the Barbarian first.
Yeah, or if you've seen the Northman and you haven't seen Conan, go see
Yeah.
Conan right now.
Yeah.
You can
Then see the Northman.
watch it
Yeah,
on your cell
they
phone
both-
as small as possible, out of your phone speaker preferably.
Yes.
Well, it makes for.
Northman is only one direction, whereas Conan is like the company of directions.
Right.
Conan.
Northman is like the British pop group One Direction.
Right.
Conan is
Harry Styles.
Is Harry Styles now.
Right.
And he's making a lot of bold
Northman
choices.
is Harry Styles. One Direction days, which
Right,
is fine,
right.
which is like you totally accept
Yeah.
him. He's fine. You don't hate him, but he's really, really good. Obviously, he's very.
Oh, and
talented.
also if you haven't seen Valhalla Rising, also watch
also
that.
another good. Yes.
How did we
That's-
forget to talk about that?
That is
Damn
a
it.
very good lord, Mads Mikkelsen as a Viking.
Incredible Viking
Nicholas
movie.
Winding Refn.
Yeah. I feel like spiritually fairly close to Northman as far as like tone.
I would agree.
Where it is very heavy and crazy violent, but Valhalla Rising is a way more of like a trip. Like it feels like you're on
Yes.
drugs a little bit when you're watching
Yes.
it, and there's
Well, again,
really
Nicholas
wild.
Winding Refn. Like
Right.
if you're aware of him outside of Drive,
Yeah.
it very much feels like that kind of movie. But I think I will go on record as like we all really loved The Northman. Yes.
We
Yeah.
did. Well,
it's my
yeah.
it's my least fave of Egghead, but
I think I agree, but I need another viewing.
I'm still a Witch boy. I think The Witch is far and away
movie.
his best.
Yeah.
I agree, but I love The Lighthouse.
Where do you guys stand on Johnny Depp and Amber Heard? I gotta know.
No.
I gotta know.
No, I will
This
not.
is
I
the
will
only
not-
episode
no.
that
Where
we're
do
gonna be
I
able to talk about
stand?
this.
I feel like if we're gonna talk
5,
about
4,
it,
3,
it's
2,
that
1.
Johnny Depp looks like he owns Margaritaville now.
I'll accept that. I'll accept that.
It's true. His tan is crazy. I don't give a shit what happened. I haven't delved too much into that. They seem like two very insane people colliding at the same time. And but
Amber
that being
Heard,
said,
never heard of her.
Whoa, whoa. Amber, if you're listening,
We hardly knew you.
we heartily knew you. We don't have to keep this in. Nobody wants to hear this, right?
Are you kidding me? This is probably the icing.
I heard she went to the depths of hell.
All right, keep that in. Please keep that in.
No, believe me, this is the best part of this shit sandwich.
Okay.
If anyone's still listening. Wow, we did it. We really covered a lot of ground there, talking about Viking penises, Conan the Barbarian, all three of Robert Egghead's movies. It was fantastic. And hopefully you got a good laugh out of it, too. Please consider coming back to future episodes and give us a follow on social media. We're across the board with Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Gmail. Just look up Very Famous Movie Podcast. That's Very Famous Movie Podcast.